Hello again in this installment of Spiritual Wisdom. I'm grateful to all of you who follow me here and to have this little community here on YouTube. And if you're new here, my name is Nicholas. On my channel I talk about witchcraft, Wicca, paganism, self-love and all matter of philosophical and spiritual topics. So if you're interested in those types of things, please subscribe, click the bell icon to be notified each time I post a video. And my intention here is to share knowledge about witchcraft, Wicca, paganism, to dispel the misconceptions about psychics, about witchcraft, about Wicca and paganism the best I can, and to share my knowledge to help you on your spiritual path or journey. But today I want to talk about how we're all waking up spiritually. The world is starting to wake up spiritually as well. Now, there are some people, yes, but have not woke up spiritually, because some people are still blind. But a lot of people are waking up spiritually in the sense people are starting to align their chakras, their third eyes. It's important that all your chakras are opened and aligned, but a lot of people are starting to open their third eye and wake up spiritually. And waking up spiritually is like an onion, where there's certain stories, certain things you've been taught, and then being spiritual, it's like seeing what you've been taught or seeing through delusions. So it's like, because as a clairvoyant, there's certain things people want you to believe and see, but as a clairvoyant, you can't help but see the truth. So it's like being clairvoyant allows you to see things as they truly are. So it's like retraining your brain. Everything you once thought you knew, it's seeing things differently. And because I'm spiritually awake doesn't mean I know everything or I see everything, but there's a lot of things what I know and a lot of things what I do see and what I'd have no way of knowing. And when I've done psychic readings for people, that my sole intention was to give them guidance, help, and also there's things I've told people what I'd have no way of knowing. And I'll talk about what being psychic doesn't mean and what it does mean in later videos. But we're all waking up, we're starting to realise, but we're not just human beings, but we're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're all starting to realise that. We're all waking up spiritually, so we're realising we're not just human beings, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, we're multidimensional beings. We're starting to realise that there are higher power in the universe. Now, in my belief, God is very much like an onion. You've got the onion, but God, if you like, what created all things, all life. But none of us as human beings know the true name of the Creator who created all life, all things. But God is like an onion, many names, many layers, but still one divinity. And God comes into your life in a form that makes sense to you. So for some people that's God, for some people that's an individual God. But having a relationship with God, be that, for me that's Hecate, that's Aphrodite, that's Isis, Horus. For me, I work with many different gods and deities. But having a relationship with divinity, be that gods or a Pacific God, is going to change your life for the better. So we're starting to realise there's a higher power in the universe. We're all starting to realise we're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're starting to realise that there are life after death. We're starting to realise that. We're also starting to realise, a lot of us, we know what karma exists because we're aware that the energy we put out through our thoughts, words, deeds and actions comes back to us. We're starting to realise as spiritual people what everything, those of us who are waking up spiritually, we're starting to realise that everything's energy, that nothing's physical, but everything's made up of energy. We might experience it in a physical way because we live in a third dimensional world, but we're also starting to realise psychically, science is theorised that there's many worlds beyond this world, but in spirituality we believe that there's many worlds beyond this world. And that is true because you've got the spirit world, you've got the world of the angels, the world of the fairies. There's so many other worlds beyond this one. And we're also starting to understand astrology better. Now, astrology at first glance looks simple. It's like you're a Sagittarius, that's it. Or you're a Virgo and that's it. But astrology is not about putting people into boxes. It is a tool, astrology. And it's a tool. And you're more than just your sun sign. You're more than that. You're more than just a Virgo or a Sagittarius, because you've got your moon sign, your rising. You've got all the 12 signs in your birth chart and all the planets. Where they are is going to influence your personality. That's why it's so important to look at your full birth chart. But we're starting to have an interest in astrology. The full world is starting to have an interest in astrology. The full world is starting to be interested in crystals and their magical properties. The full world is starting to be interested in herbs, spell work, manifestation techniques. And this is all good because we live in the age of Aquarius. And this age of Aquarius is going to last for a very long time. But the Aquarius is a spiritual sign. And they're an air sign. So Aries are all about communication and higher mind, higher knowledge. Gemini are more about communication and stimulation, because they're an air sign as well. And then Leo are at the social stage of astrology. So they're about communicating with others, having friendships, relationships with others. Whereas Aquarius want to get to the depth, the bigger picture. And that energy of Aquarius is affecting us all, where we're seeing the world the way it truly is. Our minds are expanding, because you think of air's all about the mind, it's about thoughts, communication. So our mind's expanding. All of our minds are expanding. We're all waking up spiritually. Different people are going to wake up spiritually, but the world is having an interest in spirituality. The world is taking spirituality seriously, and everyone's realising what spirituality is a tool, what they can use to better their life, to make their life better. So it's a tool what each of us can use to better life. Now, as always, there's no right or wrong path in life. For some people, I do not hate those who follow I don't hate any religion or any of those who follow religion. I will say with those who follow the Christian path, it's those who follow it, the practitioners, nothing against them. But there's a lot of, with any religion, and if you go in history, there's a lot of things with certain pagan groups, there were certain pagan groups that done human sacrifice. And they believed that would appease their gods would be happy with that. But a lot of these gods would not be happy with human sacrifice, because the gods want to help people, and to them that would just be a waste of life and a waste of someone's potential. And the gods want to see people get to their full potential. But people believed that would please the gods, so they done these sacrifices in honour of the gods. But a lot of us understand that there's a lot of wisdom in paganism, but we're sort of wiser than we were before. But every religion has a dark history or spiritual path, but there are a lot of things with people like the Crusades. There's a lot of things with Christian leaders done because they were in power and they thought that was right or just, when in fact it was immoral what they done. So there's a lot of things what they done that I disagree with. And there's a lot of beliefs in the Catholic faith what I don't agree with, like homophobia, sexism. There's lots of things. But at its core, despite there's some things I don't agree with, it is a beautiful philosophy. And for some people, walking the Christian path is right for them. Some people, the Jewish path. Some people it's the Muslim path, Hindu. But there's no right or wrong spiritual path in life or religion in life. There's just the path which right for you, the individual. No one can tell you what the right or wrong path is. And there's no one true path. If anyone says that their way is the only way or the true way, be very sceptical of that person. Be very wary. Because only you know what the right path is for you. And you go inwards, listen to your heart, your intuition. But on a positive note, I think it's beautiful that everyone is waking up spiritually and having an interest in manifestation, spell work, magic, and what everyone's waking up spiritually, and what they're understanding with manifestation, magic, spell works. People are realising we all have the power to change their lives. That is what we're realising. We're spiritual beings, but we all have the power to manifest, we all have the power to change our lives. And each day, more and more people are waking up spiritually. And it's a process, a journey. And it's just wonderful what's happening in the world right now. Because even though things are difficult, things are horrible, there's a lot of issues, a lot of difficulties, I do think it's so wonderful what people are finding the right spiritual path for them People are finding out what they believe, and the whole world is waking up spiritually. And we're starting to understand as human beings that there's so many things in this world that exist, and there's other worlds beyond this world. We're starting to understand this because being psychic is about seeing not with these eyes, it's about seeing with your third eye. And we all have the third eye chakra, and I'm clairvoyant, so I do see visions, images, auras in my mind's eye. And we're all starting to wake up psychically. And also being psychic is being able to feel different energies by your intuition and just feeling them. So we're all waking up. I think the biggest awakening we're having is one of the biggest things what you're going to learn when you're on a spiritual journey and you wake up spiritually is when you're not just a human being, when you're a spiritual being having a human experience. We're all starting to realise that. And if you're on a spiritual journey, if you're interested in what spiritual experiences are you having right now, if you feel comfortable, comment down below. What spiritual things are you experiencing right now, or what type of path are you on? If you feel comfortable sharing, please do in the comments. But as always, I just thought this would be a beautiful video to share how the world right now, because we're in this age of Aquarius, how the world is waking up spiritually. And even on the Good Morning show, there's been a few episodes where practicing witches have been on the Good Morning show. They've talked about witchcraft. So the world's having a respect and an interest in witchcraft. And there's even been people on the Good Morning show, astrologers, crystals. So everyone more or less is waking up spiritually in some way or form, and the world at large is starting to have a respect for spirituality and waking up spiritually. However, until next time, stay safe, stay magical, stay wise and witchy. Blessed be.